Today we're going to have a look at a pen that was lent to me by my friend Joe's, and it is an Indian pen. This is interesting because it's a pen by a brand I'd never touched before, so that's always fun. Lotus, and this is not just any Lotus, this is in fact the Lotus Shikhar. Fascinating pen. I like it. It's a very nice size, I found. Being a lover of the slightly bigger pens, I think this is a very nice size. Has some cool features like a stealth nib, so all black pen, black nib. Pretty cool. So, I'm going to cover the parts of the pen. I'll do a writing sample, tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and of course, a very kind thank you to Joe's for lending me the pen. I appreciate it. Now let's get started. Okay, so here we go with this Lotus Shikhar pen. Let's first show you the box. So it has the Lotus logo on there. Then you have this box, which is, I don't even think it's a fake leather. I don't know what material that is. Open it up, simple box, works well. Has the Lotus logo again in there. And the pen itself came in what I thought was a quite attractive red sort of pen kimono, but this is a very nice bright red, which I thought was very nice, especially the contrast with the black, that really works. That's quite nice. So what do we have here? The Lotus Shikhar, an Indian fountain pen. These would set you back $110. It is available in fine, medium and broad nibs, and apparently you have your choice of Jovo or B.R.E or Canwrite nibs, and Canwrite, the website, said unavailable. Ebonite pen, so interesting, has that nice feeling. Ebonite does have an interesting feeling and a very nice matte finish, which I think is nice. I really like the overall shape of this pen. It's very classic and I think it really works. Let's have a look at the parts of the pen. So top of the cap there's nothing, same Ebonite material. Then you have the clip, which has the Lotus logo. The clip is rather springy. There is a very fine line there where I'm guessing this top finial has been screwed on to put the clip in. It's tight, so I'm not going to open that, don't want to break anything. But that line is very nice and fine, and especially from a distance you barely even see it. So that's very nice craftsmanship. The tolerance is very nice here. We go down right there, it's a little hard to show you, but it has the Lotus logo and it says Lotus. And then you go down, barrel tapers down, and at the end is again nothing but ebonite. Cap unscrews. That is a couple of turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 3/4. So quickly uncapping it for a note may not be the easiest, but it's doable. I think this is a Jovo nib based on the scroll work. It is a number 6 nib. It's just a fairly large pen, so it doesn't look like an enormous nib. It has a pretty girthy section, which I actually liked. I found that very comfortable, but maybe for people with smaller hands it would not be super comfy. The pen posts very nicely, and then you have a nice large pen, but because it's all ebonite, it's very light and nicely balanced. It doesn't really get top heavy, which I think is very pleasant. And that's the pen unposted. I'm fairly certain you can use this as an eyedropper. Didn't see any metal in there. I haven't tried it. That's a pretty massive barrel, so that would hold some ink. But it does. You do have this this converter available if you just want to use that. Medium nib. I quite like that. That it's matte black. It really matches the trims of the pen well. The trims of the pen well. I think it's nice. It looks nice, and I really like the looks of it. I think it's a very cool, it's a very classic sort of cigar-shaped pen design, which I think is very neat. So they have this, and here we have a Lamy Safari. So you can see this is actually a fairly large pen, not massive oversized, but it is definitely a bigger, girthier pen. So that is really quite nice. Now, what we need to know is how does the pen write. So I'm grabbing some paper. And what we have here is I'll put down the cap, the Lotus Shikhar with what I think is the Jovo nib, medium. The ink is nudeless navy, possibly a bit contaminated by another ink, but bear with me. Writing, pleasant, pretty smooth. I feel a touch of feedback. I've often felt these black coated nibs have that because the coating on the tipping, and I think on this one it has worn off a little bit. But in any case, I find it a pleasant writer. I can't say anything else. Bit of fast writing. Of course, utterly illegible, but you see the pen keeps up very well. I don't really see any skips. So that is really quite nice. As to its wetness, nicely tuned, not a gusher, but definitely a nicely tuned pen. As always, very careful, but springiness, not so much. It's a pretty stiff nib, and there's nothing wrong with that. For those of you who enjoy such a thing, reverse writing, you see the pen runs dry very quickly, so don't expect much in that regard. So, fun pen. Let's see what I like about it and what I not like about it. Okay, what do I like and what do I not like about this Lotus Shikhar? Well, there isn't a whole lot I don't like. I think it's a simple pen, and there's nothing wrong with that. Ebonite, that's nice, makes it light. It's a good size pen. You can post it comfortably. It's light enough to not be top heavy. It has a nice shape. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to eyedropper this. It seems like a solid piece used for the barrel. No metal that I can see. Put some silicone grease there. I'm pretty sure you can eyedropper that. I like the eye for detail, the fact that it has a nice black nib that matches all the other trims of the pen. That's very cool, because with a chrome nib it would work, but this is just a nice touch. A nice simple feed. Maybe it would be nice if it would be ebonite, which you see on a lot of Indian pens, but that's okay. As you've seen in the writing sample, I think it flows pretty well. And I don't really see any obvious flaws in this pen. The tolerances are pretty good. It's nice and smooth. It's been processed well. One thing I would maybe nag about a little bit is that really is a lot of turns to uncap that pen, right? So fast uncapping is not really possible. Is that a really big deal? Sometimes. It's just a matter of convenience. But now I'm really nitpicking. What I will say is that the threads are actually very smooth. So you can cap the pen very smoothly. For all this wonder, you pay $110. I don't think that is too terrible. I know there are cheaper pens out there, but pens of this caliber, steel Jovo nib, if it would be acrylic, made by one of the American manufacturers, you'd probably be looking at about $160. It is not acrylic, it is in fact ebonite. Some people would prefer that. It's simple. 110 bucks. I don't think it's terrible. I really like that shape. I like the black nib. So bottom line, as far as I'm concerned, fun pen, nice size, black nib, writes well, can be eyedroppered, I think. Doesn't seem too bad to me at all. So there you have it. I hope this was useful, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye bye. Bye.